Tonight on Global TV News Prime, President Tinubu Wadagni deepen Nigeria-Benin strategies. In business, Central Bank of Nigeria unveils Payment Vision 2028 links efficient transactions to poverty reduction. On the foreign scene, United Nations advocates stronger support systems for parents. And in sports, Tojo Marine Invitational sets to host 18 clubs from West Africa. Hello and a very warm welcome to all of our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Muyi Agbofogbe, reminding all of our viewers that we are on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times channel 276. Tonight, we begin by telling you Benin Republic's President Romuald Wadagni has visited President Bola Tinubu in Lagos, marking his first trip abroad since being sworn into office a few weeks ago. Benin and Nigeria maintain one of the closest and most structurally impactful bilateral relationships in West Africa. Bound by an 809-kilometer shared border and a centuries-old history predating colonial borders, both countries share populations whose commercial, familial, and cultural exchanges have never ceased. Official diplomatic relations between the two nations, established on September 12, 1961, enshrine this long-standing brotherhood. On the economic front, Nigeria is Benin's primary trading partner. The autonomous port of Cotonou serves as an essential gateway for Nigerian trade bound for landlocked countries in the sub-region. Benin's formal exports to Nigeria increased by over 90% in 2024. The Semekrake Joint Border Control. Benin's formal exports to Nigeria increased by over 90% in 2024. The Semekrake Joint Border Control Posts, the West African Gas Pipeline, and the Benin-Nigeria Business Forum held in January 2026 all illustrate the depth of this bilateral integration. During the talks between both presidents, Tinubu Wadagni discussed economic and industrial cooperation, energy ties, maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea, and regional issues that include unity within the economic community of West African states. In a different engagement, President Bola Tinubu has flagged off the commissioning of 3 newly acquired warships for the Nigerian Navy in a display of maritime strength that signals Nigeria's renewed push for dominance in the Gulf of Guinea and beyond. Defense correspondent Kikalomo Okere has details.
Steeped in century of naval tradition, the International Fleet Review transformed the Lagos waterfront into a theater of maritime power as warships lined the waters in spectacular display of strength, discipline, and diplomacy. Considered one of the highest traditions in naval culture, the exercise provided a rare moment where the nation's commander-in-chief inspected an assembly of warships drawn from Nigeria and friendly foreign nations, symbolizing unity, deterrence, and strategic influence.
President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria,
President Tinubu, who declared the maritime exercise open, reaffirmed his administration's determination to build a modern, agile, and highly responsive naval force capable of safeguarding national assets, protecting economic interests, and reinforcing Nigeria's position as a key maritime power in Africa. He described the induction of the new warship as a clear demonstration of government's sustained investment in naval recapitalization, indigenous shipbuilding capacity, and maritime capabilities.
Have enhanced the security of our littoral communities and contributed to increased oil production, thereby supporting national economic growth.
The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Ibas, says the newly launched Combined Maritime Task Force will operate as a coordinated regional security mechanism, maintaining continuous surveillance and swift operational response across the Gulf of Guinea. He noted that sustained collaboration among regional navies has been central to maintaining the area's current zero piracy status, adding that Nigeria remains committed to deepening international partnership to consolidate maritime security gains.
Task Force to be flagged off today will always be on standby to ensure maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea. The force will be poised to combat emerging maritime threats while also supporting humanitarian and peacekeeping actions in the West African sub-region.
The anniversary celebration reached a dramatic climax with aerial combat display, ceremonial formation, and a grand parade of 26 warships drawn from Nigeria and allied nations. The International Fleet Review showcased a striking naval spectacle, reinforcing Nigeria's rising profile as a strategic maritime power in Africa and on the global stage. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global TV News.
Thank you so very much, Kikalomo. The Senate has strongly condemned the abduction of pupils and teachers in Orire local government area of Oyo State, describing the incident as a direct assault on the nation and its future. The position of the upper legislative chamber was conveyed in the welcome remark by President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during the resumption of plenary. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
At the resumption of plenary at the Senate from its break from the various party primaries ahead of the 2027 general elections, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, expressed deep concern over the attack on the affected schools and the adoption of dozens of pupils and teachers, stressing that the continued captivity of the victims remains a matter of national concern. He called on security agencies to intensify ongoing rescue efforts and ensure the safe return of all adopted victims, while urging law enforcement authorities to track down and prosecute those responsible for the attack.
As we resume our work under the mournful shadow of a tragedy that has shaken our nation, the abduction of school children and teachers in Oyo State, this is not merely an attack on innocent citizens. It is an assault on our collective humanity. We mourn because if we cannot protect our children, we imperil our future. We mourn because a nation that cannot guarantee the safety of its teachers weakens the very foundation upon which education rests. As we mourn because for as long as those children remain in captivity, our nation remains captive with them.
While expressing solidarity with the victims, the President of the Senate cautioned against attempts to politicize the tragedy, noting that incidents of such magnitude often create opportunities for political blame games and exploitation. He warned politicians, political office holders, and aspirants against taking advantage of the situation for personal or partisan interests, stressing that the focus should remain on rescuing the victims and supporting affected families. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick, Global TV News.
A Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has assured protesting teachers and civil society groups that security agencies are intensifying efforts to secure the release of abducted teachers and students. The assurance came as demonstrators gathered at the FCT Administration Secretariat, demanding urgent action over recent school kidnappings. Kabir Hassan completes the report.
Addressing the protesters, the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, said government remains committed to ensuring the safe return of all victims, stressing that security agencies are working around the clock to restore confidence in the nation's security architecture. Wike expressed confidence in the capacity of security institutions to secure the release of those abducted, emphasizing the need for swift intervention.
They can to make sure the teachers and the students that are being kidnapped in Oyo State are being released unharmed. But let me say this clearly. I don't like politicizing anything that happens. You have said here in FCT that teachers have been kidnapped before. Why was there no protest in the country?
The minister, however, warned against turning security challenges into political debates, noting that insecurity remains a national concern, requiring collective responsibility and unified action. Wike called for national solidarity, stressing that insecurity anywhere in the country should concern all citizens.
So why is this one not particular? We're all concerned. We're all concerned, but let us not politicize issues. That's what I will not support. But we are all concerned about security situation. We are all concerned about how the teachers and students should be released. And we all know, without being biased, that the security system is doing quite a lot to make sure that they contain the level of insecurity in this country.
The protest follows growing concern over recent school abduction, with teachers and civil society groups demanding stronger security measures and immediate rescue efforts. Kabir Hassan, Global TV News.
Members of the Nigeria Union of Teachers NUT in the Federal Capital Territory have joined a nationwide solidarity rally to demand the safe release of teachers and students abducted in parts of Oyo and Borno states. The rally, organized by the Nigeria Union of Teachers, comes to meet growing concerns over the safety of schools and the rising threat of insecurity to education in the country. Global Television education correspondent Priscilla Obasi was there for us.
Chanting solidarity songs and carrying placards, teachers gathered in Abuja and other state capitals across the country, calling on government and security agencies to secure the safe release of colleagues and students still being held captive by their abductors.
There is victory for all, victory. There is victory for all.
The nationwide action followed the abduction of 7 teachers and 39 pupils and students from schools in a rural local government area of Oyo State on May 15, as well as kidnapping of more than 40 learners from schools in Askira, Uba local government area of Borno State, with victims in captivity for weeks despite ongoing rescue efforts. Addressing participants, NUT National President Audu Amba described the attack as a direct assault on education and the future of Nigeria. He called for the immediate and unconditional safe release of all teachers and learners in captivity across the country.
Today, we are here gathered in solidarity with all our teachers and learners in captivity across the country. For over 2 weeks now, the innocent teachers and learners are still in captivity under inhumane conditions, leaving their families to live in fear and anguish.
The union also expressed concern over reports that some of the victims had lost their lives while in captivity, warning that continued attacks on schools could discourage teaching and learning, especially in vulnerable communities. Many teachers who participated in the rally say the peaceful protest for the abducted victims is for the safety of every child and teacher in Nigerian schools.
As a teacher, our salaries cannot even commensurate the pains that we are passing through. And we don't see any reason why teachers should be under captivities, not to talk of the children. These children belong to even those kidnappers who come to melt down these acts to them.
So we are out here to rally with them, come for solidarity, see if our government can listen to us and help us in rescuing them.
The teachers urged the government at all levels to strengthen school security and ensure that educational institutions remain safe spaces for learning. The rally comes as the NUT directed public primary and secondary school teachers in Oyo State to embark on an indefinite strike over the continued captivity of abducted teachers and pupils. The union says the action will remain in place until the victims regain their freedom. Priscilla Obasi, Global TV News.
Carrying placards with various inscriptions, the demonstrators marched through major streets in Abuja, expressing outrage over the growing insecurity affecting educational institutions. They described the abduction as a threat to the nation's education system and the future of Nigerian children, urging authorities to act swiftly to rescue and release the pupils and their teachers. Human rights activist Omoyele Sowore, who joined the protest, criticized the government's handling of insecurity and called for urgent measures to protect citizens, particularly school children.
And when the schools become the ground for kidnapping, one day your children will be kidnapped. I hope not. But this is the time for everybody to have innocence and what is right. Very soon, there will be more of these protests. We won't come to the FCDA. This is the beginning. On Thursday, we are going to Aso Rock Villa. If the children are not rescued. And we invite all Nigerians to come to the Aso Rock Villa.
The protesters called on security agencies and government authorities to intensify efforts to rescue the victims and ensure the safety of schools across the country. They vowed to continue peaceful advocacy until the abducted children are reunited with their families. Ubong Usoro, Global TV News.
Many thanks, Ubong. Let's now turn to Imo State, where Governor Hope Uzodinma has called for unity among members of the All Progressives Congress following the conclusion of the party's direct primaries in the state. The governor made the call during a stakeholders meeting held at the Emmanuel Iwanyawo International Convention Center, Owerri, as party leaders and members strategized ahead of the 2027 general elections. Our correspondent Marachi Ibe has details.
The stakeholders meeting brought together party leaders, elected officials, candidates, aspirants, and members of the APC in Imo State to review the outcome of the recently concluded primaries and strengthen party cohesion. Addressing the gathering, Governor Hope Uzodinma urged candidates who emerged victorious in the primaries to embrace and work with those who were unsuccessful, stressing that unity remained critical to the party's success in future elections.
The only appeal is those who got the ticket. Please accommodate those who did not get the tickets. Yes, sir. And those who have been accommodated, please take it easy because we are watching. We will have enough for everybody.
The governor also called for increased grassroots mobilization, disclosing that the APC currently has about 3 million members in Imo State. He expressed confidence that the figure could rise between 5 and 6 million before the 2027 general elections, noting that such growth will boost support for the re-election of President Bola Tinubu.
Today, our registration profile is around 3.something million. Get it up to 5 million so that we can go with a basket of votes to confront President Bola Tinubu tomorrow. Don't sit back here and say there is one TT something party. You will go and waste the Imo people's vote. And then tomorrow you tell me we don't have finance minister, we don't have this, we don't have that.
Speaking at the event, Imo State Chairman Austin Onyedebelu commended members for their peaceful conduct during the primaries and urged them to remain united in the interests of the party. Candidates and aspirants who participated in the primaries also pledged to work together for the overall success of the party ahead of the 2027 general elections.
Today, I stand before you with a heart full of gratitude and pride as I commend the members, leaders, stakeholders, and supporters for the exemplary conduct displayed during the recently concluded 2026 APC primary elections.
With the party's primary concluded, APC stakeholders in Imo State says their focus is now on party unity, membership expansion, and preparations for future electoral victories. From Owerri, I'm Marachi Ibe, Global TV News.
This is Global Television, and tonight you are watching News Prime. Let's now turn to business for you. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, says an efficient payment system can play a critical role in reducing poverty and expanding economic opportunities for millions of Nigerians. Speaking at the launch of the Nigeria Payment System Vision 2028 in Abuja, Cardoso said the country's payment infrastructure must serve as a driver of economic growth, financial inclusion, job creation, and digital innovation. On the foreign scene, the United Nations has marked June 1st as the Global Day of Parents, set aside to recognize the selfless love, sacrifices, and lifelong commitment of parents and caregivers across the world. In this special report, Zarau Nasir takes a look at the importance of parents in our lives.
Parents are the fundamental pillars of our development. They provide unconditional love, shape our core values, and offer emotional and financial support. As our first teachers and protectors, they build our confidence, foster critical life skills, and lay the foundation for future success and relationships. Experts say parents remain the foundation of every child's development, providing emotional security, moral guidance, and the basic education needed to navigate life successfully. They explain that a parent, whether a mother, father, or legal guardian, is the primary caregiver responsible for nurturing, protecting, and guiding a child from infancy to adulthood. Through consistent care, discipline, and unconditional love, parents help build resilience in children and shape the values and behaviors that influence their long-term success and happiness. The United Nations General Assembly proclaimed the Global Day of Parents in 2012 in recognition of the central role families play in raising and protecting children. Respondents who shared personal reflections on the sacrifices and lasting impact of their parents in shaping their lives and achievements.
My parents are people that when we want to talk about my parents, we the children, we are literally like their only assets. Everything they have sacrificed, everything they have not been able to, the big life they would have loved to live, the luxury life they would have loved to live, they sacrificed all of that so that they can make me and my siblings, to achieve.
They gave me is what I'm working with today. The upbringing, the teachings, the cautions, all the tutoring, I learned it from them, especially my mother.
Okay, my parents, they are very, very important to me because for me coming into this earth is through them and the way they have trained me. Because everything that I needed in this life, they are the one that introduces to me. Therefore, they are very, very important to me.
I'm very glad to be alive and live in this world. It's a very good thing to me because my parents, they really tried for me and they have supported me throughout everything I'm doing.
The 2026 theme for the Global Day of Parents, Together for Parents, emphasizes the need for stronger community support, shared responsibility, and adequate time and resources to empower caregivers in raising well-rounded children. Zahra Unasr, Global TV News.
Oh, beautifully put together. Thank you, Zirao. Let's now get some excitement from the world of sports. Organizers of the 2026 Georgia Marine Invitational Handball Championships have confirmed 18 clubs from Nigeria, Ghana, and Benin Republic for this year's tournament in Lagos from July 16 to 25. The competition will feature 10 men's teams and 8 women's teams, with organizers saying the event aims to promote handball development and strengthen regional sporting ties across West Africa. And to end News Prime tonight, let's take a look at some of our big stories. Benin Republic's President Rumwad Wadagni has visited President Bola Tinubu in Lagos, marking his first trip abroad since being sworn into office a few weeks ago. In business, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, says an efficient payment system can play a critical role in reducing poverty and expanding economic opportunities for millions of Nigerians. On the foreign scene, the United Nations has marked June 1st as the Global Day of Parents, set aside to recognize the selfless love, sacrifices, and lifelong commitment of parents and caregivers across the world. And finally, tonight we told you in sports, organizers of the 2026 Tojo Marine Invitational Handball Championships have confirmed 18 clubs from Nigeria, Ghana, and Benin Republic for this year's tournament in Lagos from July 16 to 25. And that's all we have for you on the news tonight. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG, as well as other handles as you now see on your screen. On behalf of my colleagues who have made this broadcast possible, we say thank you for watching. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe. Our broadcast here on Global Television continues.